Welcome everybody to today's event. This is the 29th annual Minnesota National Girls and Women in Sports Day celebration. My name is Sarah Eisenhower from St. Catherine University, and I'm one of the co-chairs for our event. I'm a part of a volunteer-run committee, and I think that's great, but it's great for the young people in the audience and then everyone else to be able to hear stories of people who've made an impact here in Minnesota. So I hope that you all leave here today with inspired and maybe wanting to go and take on challenges that might present themselves in sports. So I hope that people here inspire you and you have a great time. So thank you again for being here. I would like to introduce our co-chair, Deb Weidenreis. She is from the Minnesota Recreation and Park Association, and she puts in a lot of work to actually bringing this event to life and organizing this space and making sure everybody is here and all the logistical stuff. So I really appreciate her work. And then I'd also like to thank any committee members. They're usually hanging out on the top up there, but this is a great group of women who are volunteers. They all have full-time jobs and they put a lot of time and effort into making this event come to life. So I wanted to give them a round of applause for helping make this possible. I also wanted to just take a minute to let you know that this event is funded solely on donations. So if you are impacted in any way or want to know how you can get involved and help, if you find one of our committee members with a name tag, they can kind of direct you on how you could do that. So if you're wanting to be involved or help support our event, that would be greatly appreciated. I'd like to welcome our event MC for the day, Lynette Showquist. She's the color commentator for the University of Minnesota women's basketball, and a former athlete herself who blazed many trails as a member of the All-American Redheads and Minnesota Phillies. Lynette and her teammates from the All-American Redheads were inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 2012. She continues to be a huge advocate of opportunities for girls and women in sport, is a past award winner at this event, and a member of our committee. Please join me in welcoming Lynette to the stage.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Deb, for all of your work and the entire committee for pulling this together. And thank you all for coming here and celebrating this wonderful day, National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. It's a wonderful day. All of us who have had the privilege of participating in sports, no matter what the level, should understand and appreciate there is more to sports than winning and losing, although that's a tough argument for some people. The life lessons learned on the field or the court impact people long after their eligibility ends. Since Title IX, we have had generations of women and girls participating in sports, learning the valuable lessons, life lessons sports has to offer. It's no coincidence that we see more female leaders in industry, academics, and yes, even politics. Today we acknowledge it's more than a slogan, it's a way of life. Game on. We are awaiting the arrival of the governor, so we're going to start with the Breaking Barrier Awards, but if there is a high sign given to me, the governor will arrive and we'll go to his proclamation. So let us begin with the Breaking Barrier Awards. These people were nominated by peers within their communities and are being honored for overcoming barriers to help provide athletic opportunities for girls and women while serving as exceptional role models. I will give you a brief description of their accomplishments taken from their nominations that notes many of the things they have done, but we can't actually list all of them today. They're too numerous. Many will also be honored in their communities or by their respective organizations. Members of the Minnesota Coalition of Women in Athletic Leadership are up here to help me and will assist me in presenting the awards. Now some instruction for you, the audience. Because there is a list of people who are going to be given these awards, after each description, after each introduction of each award winner, let's give a 3-clap acknowledgement. Now you got to follow directions here, so 3 clap. Let's try that again. Ready? Yeah, that's it, that's it. So we will begin. This is audience participation. This is good. And now I've been told, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. The governor is here. So without further ado, may I present a great advocate, great supporter of girls and women in sports, our governor, Mark Dayton.
Thank you very much. This is a really exciting event because I'm old enough to have been around in the prehistoric era when girls' sports were not available in organized fashion, and the best athletes in my high school were cheerleaders for want of other options, and most of them were better athletes than the players, but they hadn't had a chance to prove that quite yet. And then, so I remember how pioneering it was in 1972 when this Title IX legislation was passed, and as the Minnesotan who's proud to be the only Minnesotan on President Richard Nixon's enemies list, I'm glad that I could find something positive that he actually did when he was president. And then, of course, I've seen the changes that it's made in the lives of girls and women and boys and men as well. I still remember back to hockey when it was girls played ringettes. Some of you are old enough to remember that era. And I wasn't, they changed the rules in basketball by the time I was in school so that the girls were allowed to run up and down the court rather than have to stop at center court. I mean, there's some of the prejudices involved in those differences or distinctions are really, really antiquated to say the least, dinosauric. But we made progress. You know, we haven't achieved the equity that we should, but through Title IX, through the pioneering efforts of Minnesota legislators, Phyllis Kahn is here, who pioneered the Mighty Ducks program, which actually benefited, I was coaching my son's hockey at that point, youth hockey, and it benefited boys and men's hockey as well as girls and women's, because the hockey was starting to proliferate in terms of the numbers of teams, the youth teams, and so the rinks were all just overbooked. And Phyllis started this Mighty Ducks program where there was matching state funds for community hockey rinks all over Minnesota, and it just took off, and they built enough rinks, so they're still overcrowded often, but they built enough rinks that they could accommodate the boys and men's programs as well as the girls and women's, and so it's benefited communities, it's benefited I think it's most especially certainly girls and women, and that it's given all of you and them a chance to participate and get all the benefits of athletics, which I certainly was part of my childhood and adolescent survival, as well as a lot of moments I'll treasure forever. And I've noticed that girls and women's teams tend to be more aligned with the virtues of athletics and not caught up in some of the things. I've never heard of a girls' or women's basketball team deflating the basketballs, or I never heard of the league postponing any inspection of the circumstances till after a game two weeks later. I mean, how difficult? We're not talking about the Watergate break-in here. I mean, how difficult is it to find out what happened to 12 footballs in 2 hours from one place to another? But that aside. But I'm a big sports fan, and I watched. I'm a big Minnesota Lynx fan, and I've been to their games for well, probably a decade, and more recently because they're winning more. I have to confess, but it's phenomenal to watch the pickup in the attendance there, and they're just such phenomenal athletes, but they're also such really mature and responsible citizens and citizen leaders. I remember going to a game, the regular season game during the first year when they won the WNBA, so it was a fairly sparse crowd, and these two girls, about 9 or 10 years old, and their mothers were sitting just in front of me. The girls each had a basketball. They were hoping to get autographs, and they they left a couple minutes before the end of the game to get in the rope line, and the way to my car was on the same way as the team had gone through just a couple minutes before to get to their locker room. And so I saw these two girls, and I'd asked them before about they had the basketballs and all their hopes, and they were just absolutely stratospheric because Lindsay Whalen and Maya Moore had signed both of their balls, and Simone Augustus had taken off her game shoes and autographed each one of them for one of the kids. And that kind of leadership, that kind of recognition of the importance for young girls and young boys of male and female athletes, especially when they get to that caliber of play and level of play, is something you just trust will sink in and soak in and inspire them to their own personal greatness and teach them lessons of relationship and leading that frankly a lot of the male athletes don't get a chance to recognize because they're so kind of elevated at too young an age from a lot of that responsibility that comes with prominence and leadership. One last story I'll just tell about the Lynx team. After they won the first WNBA championship, a couple months later, I went to a wedding, and one of the assistant coaches was there, and I was talking about how impressed I was. I invite the winning teams to win national championships to the residence for a reception, and so I've had the Lynx there a couple of times, and the University of Minnesota women's hockey team a couple of times, which has been also, they've been truly inspirational, and then the Concordia St. Paul women's Division II NCAA volleyball championship, who made it 7 years in a row, just an extraordinary record. And I was commenting on how just what really great leaders the athletes have come, and he told me that a story that the week after they won the WNBA championship, they had a senior, well, she was senior, she was like 42, player, their team leader, Taj McWilliams Franklin, Mama Taj, they call her, and she had evidently struck up an email correspondence with a girl out in Ortonville, Minnesota, right in the South Dakota-Minnesota borders in high school there, who was being ostracized, teased by her classmates for being tall. She was about 6'2", 6'3", and Mama Taj was a 6'3" and a really striking woman and a superb basketball player. So after they won the championship, the following week, Mama Taj got in her car, no publicity, no fanfare, and drove herself from Minneapolis to Ortonville, which is 4 or 5 hours one way, to visit with this girl, and arrived unannounced at the Ortonville High School. Well, a 6'3" African-American woman stands out in the crowd in Ortonville. And so it quickly became a tutorial where the other high school students gathered and had this dialogue about how you could be ostracized, singled out, teased, embarrassed for something like your height. And the coach said it just made such a phenomenal impression on the teachers and the faculty and at the school as well as on the students. And no publicity, no attention attempted to be given because she understood that it wasn't about her fame, it was about what she could share from her life experience with the young girl who could use that and hopefully see in her the kind of role model that I would hope all of you see, that I see in women athletes, which is why I'm proud to say that I got up at 2 o'clock on Saturday morning to watch Maria Sharapova and Serena Williams play in the incredible match. I mean, just to see the caliber of athleticism and the caliber of competition and the intensity. And Maria Sharapova lost the 16th straight time now to, which would be discouraging, especially when you're in the international spotlight. And they asked her about that afterward. And obviously she was very, very, very disappointed. But she said, I'm a competitor. This is what I do. And I go out there, and if I get to the finals of a tournament, it means I'm playing pretty well. And if I get there against Serena Williams, probably the best player ever played, is something extraordinary. And to go through that, putting yourself on the line in front of a camera, in front of the world, and playing your very, very best and coming up just short. I mean, that's as painful as it gets, but it's inspiring that people are willing to do that, and that athletics provides girls and women as well as boys and men with those opportunities to really realize their personal greatness. Whether they happen to win or lose is really much less important than we make it out to be. Is getting there that's pretty extraordinary. So to all of you who have deserved these awards and receiving these awards, who've been pioneers in Minnesota's evolution to provide true equity for women and girls sports. We have still a long ways to go, as you know, but we've made really good progress thanks to you and others who have been blazed the trail for all of us. So thank you very much, and it's my honor. Today is Governor of Minnesota to issue this proclamation, and I'll spare you my reading it because I can't see it and you won't want to listen to it. But it's declaring today Girls and Women in Sports Day throughout the state of Minnesota. Congratulations and thank you.
Just so you can see, it was duly signed and executed. So thank you, Governor. We're going back. Anybody remember where we were? Breaking Barrier Awards. Now, what are we going to do after each introduction? 1, 2, 3. Very good. Okay, here we go. 10 years ago, Pat Ahrens is the first recipient. 10 years ago, youth soccer programs didn't exist in Princeton, Minnesota. Thanks to the vision and hard work of Pat Ahrens in starting soccer through community education, the sport has flourished in the area with over 200 kids playing in grades K through 12. This fall, Ahrens' efforts were vividly apparent as Princeton High School began its 5th year with varsity and junior varsity soccer programs. Ahrens also took the reins as head coach of the girls' varsity program in 2014 and saw his work pay off as the Tigers were conference and section champions, as well as state tournament participants under his leadership. Pat Ahrens. Very good, very good. Next, Connie Boyum-Urzar. Connie Boyum-Urzar has been a trailblazer at Deer River High School and the head volleyball coach for, count them, 33 years, as well as physical education teacher. Though Boyum-Urzar has collected 580 wins, her true imprint on the community comes through her work in developing successful youth and junior Olympic programs, in addition to her work with the middle and high school programs. Also having served as the girls' basketball coach, Boyum-Urzar has been a driving force for girls' athletics and physical fitness through her coaching efforts and unique incorporation of lifelong activities into her teaching curriculum. Connie Boyum-Urzar. Raquel DeBeltz-Bushman. Raquel DeBeltz-Bushman has always been a fighter. DeBeltz-Bushman used sports as an escape from a tough childhood and wanted to provide that same opportunity for others. She is a true role model, having served countless hours as league director as she grew the Crow River Fast Pitch Softball Association to reach 22 communities and 1,200 athletes, as well as fighting to change playing rules. Also a Division I and high school league umpire, DeBeltz-Bushman often volunteers as a youth official and purchases sporting equipment for less fortunate youth. Most recently, she has been an advocate of equality through her fundraising to build softball fences for the Hutchinson Park and Recreation softball leagues. Raquel DeBeltz-Bushman. Ron Gunderson. New Prague High School girls basketball has become a model program in Minnesota thanks to the work of Ron Gunderson. Though he would be the first to attribute the team's success over the last 39 years to the dedication of his players. During his time as head coach, Gunderson has collected over 630 wins, 12 conference championships, 8 section championships, and a state title in 2000. Beyond wins, Gunderson is admired most in the New Prague community for his hard work, preparation, and development of tenacious players who take pride in the program. Ron Gunderson. Bill Halbrader. Bill Halbrader has spent over 45 years actively promoting opportunities and coaching in the Minnesota hockey community. After retiring from teaching and athletic administration at North St. Paul High School, Halbrader began volunteering his time with the Minnesota Girls Hockey Coaches Association and eventually served as president. As a behind-the-scenes board member, Halbrader has served on numerous committees that provide development opportunities and recognition for female youth hockey players. Additionally, Halbrader spent many years coaching girls high school hockey and was an assistant with the women's program at Augsburg College. Bill Halbrader. Betty Huckabo. Betty Huckabo began making an impact on girls' sports in Minnesota before Title IX and has continued to give back to the gymnastics community in Park Rapids. Huckabo's work began in Glencoe, where she successfully lobbied for 7th and 8th grade girls to be able to compete with high school students. At Park Rapids High School, Huckabo coached numerous girls to state championship appearances and was named State Coach of the Year and was inducted into the Gymnastics Hall of Fame. A Park Rapids coaching legend, Huckabo has spent 41 years judging gymnastics and has also developed community education gymnastics programs for girls in grades 1 through 6. Betty Huckabo. Deb Johansson. Deb Johansson is a visionary who started ARISE, A-R-I-S-E, a recreational inclusion support endeavor to fill a need for children with disabilities to access community recreation and leisure activities with their peers in the St. Cloud area. In 1989, Johansson successfully secured grant funding, allowing 30 disabled youth to participate in sports with the help of a volunteer assistant. Since its creation, ARISE now regularly helps over 90 children of all ages pursue over 10 different sports in a safe environment with their non-disabled peers. In 1998, Johansson received the Creative Leadership in Human and Civil Rights Award for her work with ARISE. Deb Johansson. Jessica Just. In the 10 years since the opening of Lakeville South High School, Jessica Just has built an exceptional cross-country program that has placed in the top 10 in the state almost every year, including runner-up and third-place finishes. Each year, Just carries record numbers of athletes on her team, with over 100 high school runners. She also brings up middle school students to train with the varsity team as she works to build the program further. More than a coach, Just has been a positive mentor for countless young girls in Lakeville, thanks to her willingness to support the endeavors of all of her athletes. Jessica Just. Mary Lager. Since St. Peter High School began its girls swimming and diving program in 1993, there's only been one woman who has led the program to 22 successful years. Your guess? Yes, Mary Lager. In addition to coaching some of the state's top performers, Lager has made a lasting impact through her mentorship and leadership as a positive role model. Lager's nominator said the girls who have come through the program have gone on to become successful women and lifelong members of a close-knit family. The nominator identified himself as a father who was proud to have his daughter in Coach Lager's program. Mary Lager. Mike Silk. During the dawn of Title IX, Mike Silk was an active advocate of opportunity for girls in Randolph, Minnesota. He successfully worked with the local school board to start the girls' varsity softball program. From 1979 until his retirement in 2014, we lined him up for a picture, yeah. Silk successfully led the Randolph program to 419 wins, the 12th most in Minnesota history, and numerous conference championships. Despite working with a small school enrollment, Silk's program was able to field 3 grade-level teams in addition to both varsity and junior varsity teams. His impact has been felt beyond Randolph, as many of his players have competed and coached at the collegiate level. Mike Silk. Erica Upton Wurst. In the last 10 years, Erica Upton Wurst has proven she is ready to face any challenge. She was charged with starting the Houston dance program and has worked tirelessly to battle the stigma that dance is not a sport. Throughout her years leading the dance team, she has emphasized the importance of commitment and accountability with her athletes. The tenacity and dedication of Upton Wurst has yielded growth and success in recent years. Last year, Houston became one of the top Minnesota dance programs, earning its first trip to the state meet. This year, there is now a junior varsity program thanks to the efforts of Upton Wurst. Erica Upton Wurst. Now, this is the finale for this group. Let's give a huge round of applause for all of the award winners. It's almost unbelievable as you go through each description. Wow, tremendous contributions to girls and women in sport. But we're not done. We've got another segment here, a couple more segments. Our next award is the Marie Berg Award, presented to an outstanding physical education instructor who has expanded opportunities for girls and women. This award will be presented by none other than, everybody knows her, Dorothy McIntyre, former Associate Director of the State High School League.
Thank you. Boy, you're a wonderful looking group. Marie Berg was a member of the Grand Rapids girls basketball team in the 1920s. 1920s, you say? There was girls basketball then? Oh my, yes. Hundreds of teams were playing across the state of Minnesota and having such fun. And then some discussions happened at a state and national level, and the story can be found in our book, Daughters of the Game. But you'll find that suddenly teams were being dropped. Marie was right in the middle of that. Their team, over a 10-year period from 1929 to 1939, had won 94 games and lost 0. None. Now, you say, when did they lose a game? Well, they didn't get to play number 95 because when the girls came back to school in 1940, their school principal told them that their team had been dropped. It was for their own good. And it would be far better for them to enjoy recreational activities and other physical education programs, but not the competitiveness of their girls' team. Now, you can imagine the disappointment of Marie and her teammates, but that was echoed across teams around the state of Minnesota. Marie never forgot that moment. She went on to become a teacher of physical education and provided her students back in Grand Meadow with the opportunity to play and to enjoy physical activity. And for that reason, this award is named for her. And the recipient is a person who shares Marie's commitment to healthy physical activity for young women, and now in our second era of girls' sports, provides competitive opportunities for her students. This year, the recipient of the award is Carol Enke. Since 1986, Carol has been an instructor of future physical education teachers at Augsburg College. That's important because we need the next generation now to pass on the lessons of the importance of physical activity. She challenges her students to live a healthy lifestyle and also to how they can challenge their students. She began her career teaching at the elementary school level and worked with adapted physical education program with the Minneapolis Public Schools. And then she transitioned to Augsburg, where she taught health and physical education and added coaching to her repertoire. Carol was head softball coach for 21 seasons, where her teams collected over 300 wins. Her professional organization, MAFR, has honored her with the Lou Keller Award. So today, Carol Enke, educator, advocate, mentor, and recipient of our 2015 Marie Berg Award. Please come forward. And she has a few words for us.
Few is right. Thank you, Dorothy. For several years, I've wanted to attend this event, but I typically teach at this time, and I was feeling guilty if I should cancel my class to attend this event. Even though I'm here today and should be teaching class, I'm not feeling very guilty. So, congratulations to all of today's recipients, and thank all of you out there for your efforts and commitment to girls and women in sport over the many years. A special thank you to Kelly Anderson Dirks back there for nominating me for this award. Your persistence paid off. And thank you to the Coalition for honoring me with this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy and Carol. Our next award honors someone from the media who has made special contributions in the coverage of female athletics. This year, we honor a man who made a lasting impact on media coverage of girls and women in sports in Minnesota. Today's honoree is Kwame McDonald, longtime reporter, activist, educator, and advocate for opportunity. During his lifetime, Kwame McDonald did just about everything imaginable to make a lasting impact on this world. Born James Cornell McDonald of Wisconsin, he took a pivotal pilgrimage to Africa in 1968 that changed both his name and how he lived his life. McDonald was a true activist in the St. Paul and Minneapolis communities through his various jobs as an educator, administrator, mentor, coach, sports writer, and broadcaster. Known to many as the godfather of Twin Cities sports, McDonald had major influence on the progress of minorities in local athletics. He served as the director of the St. Paul Intercity Youth League and was a pioneer in covering girls' sports and bringing press to some of the best female athletes in the metro area during his time at several local newspapers and broadcast stations. He was also instrumental in launching the first Intercity All-Star Classic for girls basketball in 2001 to ensure that they had the same opportunity for recognition as boys. McDonald passed away in 2011, but not before making a lasting impact on the landscape of Minnesota sports. Not only is our committee honored to present this honor to him, the family of Kwame McDonald, but this award will henceforth be named in his honor, the Kwame McDonald Media Award. Here to accept this award this award on Kwame's behalf is his son, Mitch McDonald. Mitch?
I will admit that I wasn't prepared to say anything. I thought I was just going to get an award and go home. But like someone said in the audience, a good friend of mine, he said, like your dad, I'm pretty sure you'll think of something. So here it goes. I'm amazed at how the impact that my dad had on everyone else's life, because he definitely had one on mine. But I'm just amazed on how he impact everyone he meets. Let me tell you just a quick, and I promise it's quick, a quick story on how he decided to get involved in women's sports, or how he kept going. We would go to a lot of men's events when I was growing up. We'd be going to the Gopher Men, we'd go to the Vikings, we'd go all over to high school events, but they would mostly be about, the males. And my mom, who also passed away a few years back, would get upset because we'd be going to all these places. And then one day, you know, he said, we're going to a basketball game. And then they started arguing. And then he said, I'm going to see the Gopher women play. And she said, okay. So he was like, really? No argument? You know, and she said, no, support the female sports. They're not getting a lot of support. So we went everywhere. And then before you know it, you know, he would say, you want to go to a Gopher game? And I'm all excited, and I'm saying, yeah. And then we end up at a women's game, and I'm like, huh? But that's how he got started. And then I don't know how many people he helped. They come up to me probably every day saying, thanks to your dad. So I appreciate the committee for this award. He told me when he passed away that I would be collecting a lot of stuff for him, and I didn't believe him. And 3 years later, he's still right. So again, thank you. Thank you to everyone, and I hope to carry on what he started. Thank you.
I've got to say a few words about Kwame. He was an impressive individual, and if you ever were able to meet him, he had such a sincerity about his support for girls and women in athletics. I played for the Minnesota Phillies, part of the WBL 100 years ago. When no one else was in the stands watching or covering us, Kwame McDonald would be there. He would cover our basketball game and report on it. When Inver Hills Community College still had athletics, no one would be there. Kwame would be there to report on that women's basketball game. He was an incredible person, and I don't know how he had time to do anything but go to events. He was always at every event. So, well-deserved honor. Thank you, Kwame McDonald. Our next award is the Wilma Rudolph Courage Award. It is given to a female athlete who exhibits extraordinary courage in her athletic performances, demonstrates the ability to overcome adversity, and serves as an inspiration and role model. Rhonda Jo Donatucci is the 2015 honoree. For Rhonda Jo Donatucci, being deaf has only been a small obstacle along her way to excellence, as she has proven that hard work can overcome almost any challenge. A native of Minnesota, Donatucci attended the Minnesota State Academy for the Deaf and then took her talents to Gallaudet University, where she became a 3-time All-American basketball player and 3-time Conference Player of the Year in both basketball and volleyball. Donatucci led Division III women's basketball in scoring in 1998 and 99, averaging 26.3 points per game. She led the Bison to 2 NCAA tournament appearances and still holds the Division III record for career rebounds. Donatucci went on to become the first deaf woman to play in the WNBA, leading to her induction into the Gallaudet Hall of Fame in 2008 and her jersey retirement in 2014. Following her playing career, Donatucci has given back to the deaf community through coaching and teaching of physical education. Currently, she serves as interim co-director and director of student life at the Metro Deaf School. Ladies and gentlemen, our Wilma Rudolph Award recipient, Rhonda Jo Donatucci.
As you all know, we were only told to clap 3 times, but as a deaf person, we are visual, and this is how we clap. So let's practice that. I really have to tell you, it's quite an honor to be invited to this celebratory event and to receive this award today. I am fortunate to be an alma mater from both schools, from the Minnesota State Academy for the Deaf and also Gallaudet University. Both schools, along with my family, have really given me a lot of confidence as a deaf individual. and have also taught me to and have given me the determination that I can do anything without barriers, or even if there is a barrier in front of me. And I would like to thank my family, close friends, my teammates, and coaches for fostering me along for me to become who I am today. And that's brought me to where I am today as a student life director and an interim co-director at Metro Deaf School, which is in St. Paul. So again, would like to thank all of you for being here today to witness all of us becoming our award, to receiving our award. So thank you again.
Thank you, Rhonda Jo, and congratulations. Each year, we honor a few individuals who exemplify the highest levels of commitment to breaking barriers for girls and women's sports and present them with the Special Merit Award. Today, we have 3 honorees who we'd like to recognize. Myron Glass. Myron Glass is a Minnesota coaching legend and is responsible for putting sports at Rochester Lourdes High School on the map. When he began teaching in 1968, Glass started a girls' track team and boldly decided to host a meet with other private schools in the area. Girls' sports were officially born at Lourdes and in southern Minnesota. Glass went on to coach multiple sports at Lourdes, winning 16 state titles, 8 of which most notably came with the girls' basketball program. Glass retired in 2013-14 as one of only 9 coaches in the state to reach 500 or more wins in basketball, with his teams averaging a 25-3 win-loss record each season beginning in 1983. His team also held a streak of 124 consecutive conference wins and 75 home wins. Glass has been inducted into multiple Hall of Fames, including the Minnesota State High School League and Minnesota Coaches Association. His proudest achievement of his career doesn't come in the form of wins or awards, though, but in serving as a leader to create equal access for girls to compete in sports and championship opportunities. Myron Glass.
Good. Thank you to the Minnesota Girls and Women's Day in Sports Commission for this award. It is such a great, great honor. You know, thanks to those who came with me, and congratulations to all our winners. You know, as a graduate of the old Minneapolis South High School, you know, I never imagined being in a situation like this. You know, all I want to be was a teacher and a coach, kind of like Coach Luke Mona. The old timers would remember Coach Mona. He was kind of one of my idols growing up. You know, I ended up graduating with a double major in math and social studies, you know, and got a job in Rochester Lourdes High School. As I mentioned, in 1970, I was in my classroom, and a group of girls like these girls came to my room and said, "Why do we only have intramurals? Why don't we have sports? You know, why can't we have a team?" Well, being a dumb, naive young teacher, I said, "Why not?" So we formed a girls' track team, as I mentioned, and, you know, 70 girls showed up for the first practice. I had them run around the track one time. One person made it without stopping. One person. She became our 400 runner. You know, I contacted all the other private schools in the area and from southern Minnesota down. You know, Pete Schmidt from Austin Pacelli, Tim Graham, Brother Spirik, I believe, from Fridley Grace, and we formed teams. So on Sunday, May 10th, I had a 6-team meet for the girls. You know, literally, we had a dual meet before, but kind of the first invitational ever for a girls. 13 events, with the longest race being 800 meters. I think I got in trouble with some of the moms because that was Mother's Day. Well, we were able to get a schedule of dual meets for the rest of the spring, and from things then grew rapidly. In 1971, we started the girls' basketball and tennis, and you know, I kept writing letters to other schools, encouraging them to start teams. And yeah, girls, it was letters, no email back then, and no texting or anything, so we had to go by the old way. And we were able to start teams and help get things rolling, and Dorothy came along, and things kind of took off from then. You know, it's just a great time period. I'm so proud just to kind of been that little pebble in the sand to help with the growth of women's sports. As mentioned, I believe that women's sports has such a positive impact on today and on our women. You know, it's one of the underlying factors contributing to the growth of women, you know, in our society and the importance of them. So thank you again so much for this award. It's so much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Myron. Jean Havlish is our next honoree. She can't remember a time when she wasn't playing baseball while growing up in St. Paul. In the pre-Title IX era, Havlish spent her childhood in the cornfields playing baseball with the neighborhood kids during a time when girls weren't playing sports. Havlish made a name for herself when she began playing with the Fort Wayne Daisies of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in 1953 at age 17. Grasshopper, as she was known to the fans, played in over 200 games, making roughly $185 a month. Though she played professionally just 2 years, Havlish wouldn't have traded that experience for anything. Following her return to Minnesota, Havlish made a name for herself for over 3 decades in the bowling world. For over 25 years, Havlish maintained a 185 average or higher and was a member of the Professional Bowling Association. She is now a member of the Women's International Bowling Congress Hall of Fame and the Minnesota Sports Hall of Fame. Named one of the 50 greatest Minnesota athletes of the 20th century by Sports Illustrated, Havlish is a true Minnesota legend. Jean Havlish.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you hear me? I'm not a very good speaker, but I don't really feel like I deserve all this honor, but it's nice to know that somebody thinks so. And thank you, Carol. I don't know where you are, but Carol and Jana, this is bigger than I ever thought. It's overwhelming, but there's an old saying, you come a long way, baby. I've heard that before. So I thought I'd share one of my long ways with you. And back in about 62 years ago, I was a rookie shortstop for the Fort Wayne Daisies. And back then, they said I had quick feet, sure hands, and a rifle arm. Well, then the long way came along, and now it's quicksand, butterfingers, and a popgun arm. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is an honor. I can't tell you how overwhelmed I am. And like I said, I'm a lousy speaker. It's a good thing I could play baseball better than that. But thank you to everybody that was responsible, and I give my congratulations to all the honorees, breaking barriers. All these people are the ones that bring up the future athletes with the women, and they've done a good job. In my day, you couldn't get in gym class, you couldn't get enough girls to play sports to have a team playing against each other. And now it's just flourishing. So somebody has done something good. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you.
You notice she's got her tennis shoes on. She's ready to play. Thank you, Jean, very much. Our next honoree, Nicole M. Lavoie. After winning a national championship and twice earning All-American honors for tennis at Gustavus Adolphus College, it's no surprise that Dr. Nicole M. Lavoie has gone on to make a continued impact on girls and women's sports. Lavoie spent time coaching collegiate women's tennis before moving on to earn her MA and PhD from the University of Minnesota, where she serves as a senior lecturer in the School of Kinesiology. Since 2005, Lavoie has served as the Associate Director of the Tucker Center for Research on Girls and Women in Sport. In this role, she has conducted groundbreaking research on a variety of topics and produced an Emmy-nominated documentary on concussions in female athletes that has aired over 43 times since 2011. Lavoie is engaged in the first ever project examining the decline of female coaches since Title IX in collaboration with the Alliance of Women Coaches and is a teaching faculty member for the NCAA Women's Coaches Academy. She also serves as an advisory board member for ESPNW and has helped develop educational material to accompany the 9 for 9 documentary series. Nicole M. Lavoie.
Hi, everyone. First, I want to thank the committee and all the hard work that you do throughout the year to put on this amazing event. I've been here many times, sitting out there, so it's a little overwhelming to be up here on the stage because I really leave this event every year feeling really inspired. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow award winners. Jean, you're a tough act to follow. And the Edina girls tennis team, who you'll hear about shortly, when Governor Dayton was talking about Sharapova to Serena Williams, 16-0, I'm the Sharapova when I played against Edina tennis. Congratulations to you and your teammates and all the women that preceded you at Edina High School. You have quite a legacy there. I'd also like to thank the previous award winners, as I mentioned, who I've heard about for years, and those in the audience, the coaches, the administrators, the parents, the other stakeholders who are tireless advocates of girls and women in sport and who make a difference in our communities. This is the inspiration that I get for the work that I do at the Tucker Center. I'm really honored to be with all of you today to receive this award because it is due to the collaboration and the support and the mentorship that so many of you in this room provide to me and to us at the Tucker Center that I stand up here. And one is only as good as the people she surrounds herself with. And looking out at all of you and all the award winners, I'm feeling pretty darn good today, so thank you. I'm pretty sure that my career pathway was set at about age 10 when I made the 5th grade boys basketball team and was called to the principal's office the next day, what I thought was going to be a congratulations. And he encouraged me to quit the team and take up Girl Scouts or ballet, which I was pretty surprised about, and because he was getting calls from the boys' parents whom I had displaced. And I looked at him and I said, I want to play basketball. It's my passion, it's what I love, it's what I want to do, and I'm not going to quit the team. And I got up and walked out. So I think in many ways I'm still that 10-year-old girl. I'm fighting for what I love. I get up every day and try to do good work that makes a difference in the lives of girls and women, and I try to use my passion to do that work so girls and women in and through sport get to pursue their passion and follow that passion and lead. And when they do get to sport, I want to increase the likelihood that they have a positive, inclusive, and tolerant climate to play and lead that they and we all deserve. So I'm grateful every day to have the opportunity to do the work that I do in the Tucker Center because of the vision of Tucker Center Director Dr. Mary Jo Kane. And I'll conclude by saying with a saying that I learned from one of my mentors who recently passed away, Steve Wilkinson at Gustavus Adolphus College. Some of you young women might have attended Tennyson Life Camps. He taught me many great things, and I wouldn't be standing up here without his guidance and mentorship. But he taught me many, many things. Always give full effort, always have a positive attitude, 3 crowns, and always treat those around you with care and respect. And I think that's a really important lessons for all of us in the work that we do every day, regardless of the context. And he also taught me the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. You can say it with me. Change the things the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I thank all of those of you who are present and many of those who are not present with us today who continually provide me the courage and the wisdom that I need every day to strive to make a difference in the lives of girls and women in and through sport. So thank you for this wonderful award.
Thank you, Nicole. This year marks the first year of the Minnesota Legacy Award, which recognizes an individual for their lifetime of significant and important contributions to the advancement of opportunities for girls and women's sports in Minnesota. We are pleased to have the opportunity to recognize Joan Parent with the inaugural award. Joan Parent lived her life on the right side of history, leaving a true legacy in Minnesota. Following her passing in 2013, her daughter, Joellen Johnson, said, "Parent was not afraid to stand up and say what she thought. That mentality helped Parent make an immediate impact after moving from Canada, where she grew up competing in several sports. Parent was the first female veterinarian in Minnesota and served for 30 years on the Foley School Board. She was also a member of both the Minnesota and National School Board associations. Parent left the greatest impact on the state, though, during her time on the Minnesota State High School League Board of Directors. Believed to be the first woman to head a scholastic athletic association, as president, Parent helped move Title IX forward, fighting for equal opportunity in sport when the amendment was still facing resistance. She helped add 8 girls' state tournaments and advocated for girls' basketball to be a winter sport just like the boys. Parent was a true advocate of opportunity who helped girls' sports to flourish in Minnesota. Here to accept this award on Joan's behalf is her daughter, Joellen Johnson.
When my mother died a little over a year ago, she was almost 91, and by then she had lost a lot with dementia, although she remembered that she loved animals, and she remembered that as a child, the only thing she wanted to do was put her skates on and go skate. And she would put the guards on to go home and have her lunch, and then go back out and skate some more. She played hockey and a lot of other sports. I wanted to share with you a story that she told when she was on the State High School League Board and was president of the board, because she was called to speak to a lot of places about implementing Title IX. And the story that she liked to tell was a shaggy dog story, which obviously means it was long, and I'm not going to be able to tell you the whole story, but in abbreviated version, it goes like this. In World War I, there was a man who was manufacturing rations for the troops. And a particular ration had rabbit meat. And he went to the war board and he said, I can't find enough rabbit. I need to add something to this ration, and I want to add some horse meat. Now, I know this is shocking to you girls. Rabbits and horses in meat, it's scary, but this is World War I, right? So they said, okay, and it was like 10%. So the shaggy dog story would be going over, him coming back over and over again, saying he's having difficulty, he needs to increase the percentage, until the last time he comes to the board, and he wants it to be 50-50. And when he makes that transition, the war board says, "This is terrible. What did you do?" We agreed to 50-50, and he said, "Yeah, it's 50-50. Half a horse and half a rabbit." And she would tell that joke. Now, during this time, school boards were mostly men. And obviously decision makers in athletics were mostly men. She would tell this joke to them to say, "That's not equity." And she loved that joke. And she was very good at telling it. I'm not so good. But on her behalf, I want to thank the women and the Commission on Women and Girls in Sports for this honor. My mom never thought she did a whole lot. She was very humble, I guess, in those regards. She didn't feel like she was breaking a lot of barriers, even though she did many, many things that broke barriers. But she would have been proud of this. So thank you.
Our final award today, it's not quite night. Finally, we are going to present an award called the Minnesota Milestone Award, which honors an outstanding program that has achieved a significant milestone within a respective sport or that shows continued achievement over an extended period of time. This year's honor goes to a high school program that has won more state championships in the sport of tennis than any other team in the country. The Edina High School Girls Tennis Program is this year's Minnesota Milestone Award recipient. And I want the whole team to step up here. Come on. Just line up in a couple of lines. Who doubles partners? Who plays doubles? Nobody knows yet? Singles? Who's number one singles player? All right. Let me read you a little bit about the legacy here of this particular team, if you haven't heard. When Steve Paulson took over as head coach of the Edina High School girls tennis program in 1992, the team had won a record 15 state championships and developed a tradition of excellence. Since then, he has continued to emphasize hard work, dedication, and fun in order to set what has become a national girls tennis record. The Hornets won their 18th consecutive Minnesota Class AA title in 2014, and since their streak began in 1997, the team has lost just 3 matches. Their most recent win in October didn't come as a result of one standout player, but from the collective drive and determination of the entire team lineup that has grown up with the dream of contributing to one of the most elite clubs in the tennis world. Throughout the streak, many Hornets have gone on to play and coach at the top levels of collegiate tennis. As the only coach during the elusive streak, Paulson doesn't emphasize the importance of winning, but instead fuels success by encouraging players to be their best on and off the court. Accepting the award on behalf of the Hornets is Troy Stein, the assistant principal and activities director. Troy?
Thank you so much on behalf of Edina High School and our girls tennis program, our current team from this past fall, and all the alumni of this program. We thank the coalition for your efforts and also for sponsoring this event today. Personally, I certainly can appreciate this recognition and this event because I have 3 young daughters that are 6, 4, and a year and a half. And I certainly hope that they continue to have the opportunities, and those opportunities grow from all the efforts of everybody here and everybody that's been recognized in years prior. Professionally, as the activities director, we're certainly looking to continue and grow and develop leaders in girls and women's in sports, and certainly as I look to hire coaches and women's programs, we certainly want and look for leadership from women as well. There's a certain quality that they can bring to the table and an experience. I would like to start by recognizing some outstanding leaders that have helped grow this program. And our two coaches over here on the far side of the stage, our head coach Steve Paulson and our assistant coach Perry Forrester. Give them a round of applause. Steve, as the head coach, has a passion for tennis and has an extreme knowledge of teaching and relating to kids, and that carries forward. He's got a great pulse of the team and understands the roles and relationships that all go into this, and he's a great communicator with each and every one of them, and he's just an outstanding leader of our program. But most importantly, an award and achievement like this certainly is about our girls here and the effort and the tenacity that they bring to this program. They take great pride in this streak, and they work extremely hard, not only in school and achieve great things academically, but they work in the off season in incredible amounts of time and effort and energy, and they're so supportive of each other. And believe me, in getting to know them and the streak, it is certainly something that weighs on them, and they work extremely hard to continue that legacy. And it's just an honor and recognition for them and the efforts that they have provided and all the alumni prior to this team. So on behalf of this team, we certainly thank you and look forward to this in years to come. So thank you very much.
Certainly a remarkable achievement, and one in which I'm sure these young ladies are working hard to continue. So thank you so much for your hard work. That really brings us to the conclusion of our program today. We want to thank you for attending it. We certainly look for your feedback. We want to know if this is the type of program that you appreciate, and if you do, if you want to volunteer, if you want to support us monetarily, that would be splendid. I do ask that you take a look at some of the sponsors' tables as you exit, so that you give them a fair chance to look at what they've done for us and the type of products or services that they provide. I want to challenge you to go out into the world and use the theme of this year's National Girls and Women's in Sport Day, and that is go out and boldly say, "Game on." Thank you very much.